A 7-year-old girl left her home for a routine Quran lesson and never returned. What first appeared to be a missing child case soon turned into a discovery that shocked an entire nation. As details emerged, the crime revealed disturbing truths about safety, responsibility, and failure at multiple levels. This is the case of Zainab Ansari, a tragedy that changed the course of child protection in Pakistan. Zainab Ansari was born on August 18, 2010 in Kasur. She was the youngest child in her family and lived with her parents and siblings in the same neighborhood where she was raised. Her father, Muhammad Ansari, and her mother, Nusrat Ansari, were deeply attached to her and regarded her as the center of their household. Family members consistently described her as a loved and protected child whose daily life revolved around home, school, and religious learning. Kasur was Zainab's hometown and the place where her family had long been settled. While the city is historically known for its cultural and religious heritage, it had also gained attention before 2018 for disturbing reports related to child exploitation. According to documented accounts, multiple child abuse scandals had previously emerged from the area, raising concerns about child safety. These incidents formed part of the broader environment in which Zainab and other children in Kasur were growing up. Zainab followed a simple and consistent daily routine. One of the most important parts of her day was attending Quran recitation classes near her home. She would leave regularly for these lessons, a practice well known to her family and neighbors. This routine reflected both her young age and the normalcy of her life at that time. In early January 2018, Zainab Ansari was temporarily living away from her parents, who had traveled to Saudi Arabia to perform Umrah. During their absence, she was staying with close relatives in her neighborhood in Kasur, where she had spent most of her childhood. Her caregivers ensured that her daily routine remained unchanged, including her regular attendance at Quran recitation classes near the family home. The household expected her return before midday daily. On January 4, 2018, Zainab left the house in the morning to attend her Quran lesson, following the same route she was accustomed to taking. When she failed to return at the expected time, concern quickly grew among her relatives. As hours passed without any sign of her, family members began searching the surrounding streets and nearby areas, asking neighbors if they had seen her. A crucial development occurred when CCTV footage was located along Pirawala Road in Kasur. The footage showed Zainab walking alongside a man who was holding her hand. At the time, this did not immediately appear suspicious, as the man was not behaving aggressively and appeared familiar. The individual was later identified as Imran Ali, a resident of the same neighborhood where Zainab lived. The discovery of the footage clarified that Zainab had not wandered off alone, but had been accompanied by someone she appeared to trust. This realization marked a turning point for the family, confirming that her disappearance was not accidental. Despite this information, Zainab did not return home that day, and her whereabouts remained unknown as the search continued. After Zainab Ansari did not return home on January 4, 2018, her relatives formally approached the local authorities to report her missing. A complaint was lodged at the Kasur District Police Office by her family members, who explained that her disappearance was unusual and out of character. According to the family, Zainab had never stayed out for long periods without informing an adult, and her routine was well known within the neighborhood. Despite these concerns, the initial police response was slow. Officers reportedly suggested that the child might have gone out to play and would return on her own after some time. No immediate large-scale search operation was launched, and the case was not treated with urgency during the early hours. This reaction caused distress and frustration among Zainab's relatives, who continued searching independently while repeatedly contacting the authorities. As time passed without progress, the family expanded their efforts beyond the police station. They visited nearby streets, questioned shopkeepers, and spoke to local residents in an attempt to trace Zainab's movements. When these efforts produced no results, they turned to social media. Photographs of Zainab were shared online with requests for information, asking anyone who had seen her to come forward. The missing child reports quickly circulated across digital platforms, drawing attention from people outside Kasur. While public awareness increased, Zainab's location remained unknown. The absence of immediate investigative action during these critical early hours later became a central point of public criticism, as each passing moment reduced the chances of finding her alive. On January 9, 2018, 5 days after Zainab Ansari disappeared, her body was discovered at a garbage disposal site on Shahbaz Khan Road near Lahore. The location was not far from the area where she had gone missing, yet it had remained unnoticed during earlier searches. The discovery was made in the afternoon, and local authorities were alerted immediately. Family members were called to the site for identification. Zainab was identified through her clothing and facial features, confirming the fear her relatives had carried since her disappearance. News of the recovery spread rapidly through Kasur and neighboring areas, bringing an abrupt end to days of uncertainty. A post-mortem examination was conducted soon after the body was recovered. According to the autopsy report, Zainab had been subjected to sexual assault and physical torture before her death. Medical findings confirmed injuries on multiple parts of her body, indicating prolonged abuse. The report further established that the cause of death was strangulation. Investigators also determined that Zainab had been held for several days before being killed, based on medical observations documented in the report. After her death, her body was disposed of at the garbage site, treated as unidentified waste. The confirmation of these findings transformed the missing child case into a confirmed homicide investigation. Details from the autopsy removed any uncertainty surrounding the cause of death and underscored the severity of the crime, triggering widespread shock and grief across the city and later throughout the country. Authorities secured the site and recorded evidence as part of the ongoing investigation process officially. The confirmation of Zainab Ansari's death on January 9, 2018 triggered widespread public outrage across Pakistan. Protests began in her hometown of Kasur and quickly spread to major cities, including Islamabad. Citizens gathered on roads and outside police stations, demanding accountability and immediate justice for the child. Candlelight vigils were held, while demonstrations blocked traffic and disrupted daily life. In Kasur, anger intensified as crowds accused local law enforcement of negligence and delay. Protesters clashed with police, and several vehicles were set on fire during the unrest. According to reported accounts, the situation escalated when demonstrators attempted to enter a police station. During the confrontation, police opened fire to control the crowd. As a result, 2 individuals lost their lives, further deepening public anger and grief. The protests were not limited to street demonstrations. Social media played a central role in amplifying public reaction. Images of Zainab and calls for justice circulated widely, and the hashtag Justice for Zainab trended nationally. News outlets provided continuous coverage, turning the case into a national issue rather than a local tragedy. Authorities responded by increasing police presence in affected areas, while announcements were made regarding internal inquiries into police conduct. Reports later confirmed that several police officers involved in the firing during protests were taken into custody for investigation. The scale and intensity of these protests reflected widespread frustration over repeated child abuse cases and perceived institutional failure. Public pressure continued to mount, placing law enforcement and government officials under intense scrutiny as the nation demanded answers. On January 23, 2018, the arrest of Imran Ali was officially announced by Shahbaz Sharif, marking a major development in the investigation into the murder of Zainab Ansari. Authorities confirmed that forensic evidence had directly linked Ali to the crime. DNA samples obtained from Zainab's body were compared with samples collected during a wide screening process, and the results showed a match with Imran Ali. Officials further stated that the same DNA evidence also matched samples connected to at least 7 other underage victims from the same area. Imran Ali was identified as a 24-year-old mechanic who lived in Zainab's neighborhood. His residence within the same locality meant he was familiar to residents and able to move without drawing suspicion. Investigators revealed that after Zainab's body was found, Ali had participated in public protests demanding justice, standing among crowds calling for action against the perpetrator. During the investigation, police also recovered clothing linked to the case. A jacket matching the one seen in CCTV footage was found in Ali's possession. The footage had earlier shown Zainab walking with a man shortly before she went missing, and the recovered clothing strengthened the evidence connecting Ali to that moment. Following his arrest, Imran Ali confessed to the crimes. He admitted to raping and murdering Zainab Ansari and acknowledged responsibility for multiple similar offenses involving underage girls. Authorities stated that the confession was consistent with forensic findings and corroborated existing evidence collected during the investigation conducted by law enforcement authorities involved in the case at that time officially. On February 17, 2018, an anti-terrorism court delivered its verdict in the case involving the rape and murder of Zainab Ansari. The court found Imran Ali guilty of the crimes based on forensic evidence, witness material, and his recorded confession. He was convicted for the murder of Zainab and for multiple similar offenses involving underage girls from the same region. The sentencing was severe. The court awarded Imran Ali 4 death sentences, 1 life imprisonment term, and an additional 7-year jail sentence. Alongside custodial punishment, a fine of 3,200,000 Pakistani rupees was imposed. The verdict reflected the scale of the crimes and the number of victims linked to the accused. Following the judgment, Imran Ali was transferred to Lahore Central Jail to await execution. Legal procedures were completed over the following months, and no reversal of the sentence was announced. On October 17, 2018, Imran Ali was executed by hanging during the early morning hours. The execution took place inside the jail premises under standard legal protocol. Zainab's father, Mohammed Amin Ansari, was present at the time of the execution. Officials confirmed that the sentence had been carried out in accordance with court orders. With the execution completed, the legal process in the case formally concluded, bringing an end to one of Pakistan's most widely followed criminal trials. Authorities stated that the sentencing and execution followed existing criminal law procedures, and that the case records were closed after completion of punishment, marking the final judicial outcome of the investigation without further legal proceedings. In the days following the confirmation of Zainab Ansari's murder, reactions emerged from across Pakistan and beyond. Political leaders, activists, media figures, and members of civil society publicly condemned the crime and demanded institutional accountability. Statements were issued by senior officials, emphasizing the failure to protect vulnerable children and calling for decisive action against offenders. International attention also followed. Malala Yousafzai expressed grief and urged authorities to act, while Imran Khan highlighted the vulnerability of children within society. Religious and political figures echoed similar concerns, questioning governance and law enforcement performance. Television networks devoted extended coverage to the case, and journalists framed the crime as a national moral failure requiring systemic reform. Public pressure contributed to legislative response. In 2020, Pakistan's parliament passed the Zainab Alert, Response and Recovery Act, commonly known as the Zainab Alert Bill. The law was designed to strengthen mechanisms for reporting and responding to missing child cases nationwide. It introduced systems for rapid alerts, coordinated recovery efforts, and mandatory timelines for police action. The legislation also established strict penalties for child abuse and included provisions to hold law enforcement officials accountable for unnecessary delays during investigations. The act was named after Zainab Ansari, linking her case permanently to national child protection policy. The passage of the bill marked a significant legal outcome of the case. While it could not reverse the crime, it represented an effort to prevent similar incidents and improve institutional response. Zainab's name became associated with structural reform, ensuring her case continued to influence Pakistan's legal and social framework nationally.